Hello everyone, Vincent Briatore here. Hope everyone is doing well. Today I have some breaking news. Very interesting story out of Los Angeles. A local man by the name of Paul Gonzalez was recently arrested, accused of, 12 different felonies, including extortion and grand theft. Well, what did this guy do? Well, he dine-and-dashed. Well, let me explain. He didn't dine-and-dash. Okay, this guy found women on Plenty of Fish and Tinder, dating websites, right? He went on dinner dates with them. He ate his meal, said, I got to go to the bathroom real quick, goes to the bathroom, and dashes out of there. That's it. He did this about, 8 times, and the total amount of money that they're accusing him of, extorting from these women is about $900, so not even $1,000. And this guy is facing a max of 13 years in prison in California. How ridiculous is this story? The first thing I thought is how many times that's happened to me. I hate to admit it, but it's happened to everybody. Even when I was younger days, you go out with somebody, pay for dinner and everything, they go to the bathroom real quick, never come back. It's happened at least twice to me. And back when I used to bartend and serve, this is back when I was 22, 23 years old, I knew a few different women that did this on all the time. All the time. They would just go on dates with guys just for the free meal, but wouldn't even bother to talk to them after, to excuse themselves. Most of the time, women would just say, I'm busy after dinner, and they just peel. These girls would actually eat their dinner, then go to the bathroom and do the exact same thing and peel out of there. So what's my issue with this? My issue is, apart from the criminal justice system as a whole, but I'm telling you, this has been going on for so long with women, and I'm not saying it's okay, but to say extortion, to say grand theft, to say that this guy is facing 13 years in prison over this, it's a little ridiculous. Now, this is all over the news channels in Los Angeles. There's 8 different articles online about this. This recently happened. I think he was arrested yesterday. Maybe even this morning. And it baffles me. It baffles me and it angers me a little bit. Because how is this extortion? How is this grand theft? 2 people are agreeing to go to dinner. If one person doesn't have the money or leaves mid-dinner, the other person is responsible for that. That's it. That's just a risk that you take, right? You can't say that someone is a criminal, is extorting you because they peeled out of there. And the amount of money is just not that, it's not that much. It's under $1,000. One of the news organization actually was on the TV, cable news, right? And they had recordings of the women. They obviously wanted to stay anonymous. And they're just I'm so happy that justice has been served. I hope he gets what he deserves. And it's 13 years is the max. 12 charges, felony charges. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. They'll settle for less. And so a lot of times this doesn't happen. Okay, I've been caught up in this mess in Los Angeles, as you guys know. So here's what happened. They trump up all these charges. And if you're lucky and you have an attorney and you can make bail, then you might get stuff reduced. But if not, you're just trying to take a deal. On average, it takes about a month before they even present you with a deal, right? And you take the deal at that point. You know why? Because if you say you want to take it to trial, your attorney even, and the prosecutor, they tell you, it's you take it to trial. If you lose, we're going to go with the max. And you're the max. So then they put a deal in front of you. It says 6 months, or they say, just probation. Take the deal. You already been locked up for a month. So if you can't make bail, you're going to be in jail even longer, okay, through the trial. And let's be honest, if anybody's locked up longer than a month, you're probably going to be homeless. If you default on a payment on your rent, you have 30 days to make up for that payment. And usually then they file for eviction, 30 days later, you're out. So you can't spend 6 months in jail without working. You're going to lose your job, you're going to lose your house. All this works against people that are caught up in this situation. Somebody comes to you with a deal after a month that you've been in that zoo, because it's a freaking zoo in there, and says, listen, take this deal, you do 6 months, you're out. Or you take this deal, you get 10 years probation. You're going to take the deal. You're going to take the deal, especially when they tell you you want to seek justice and want to take it to trial, and they tell you, but if you take it to trial and you just so happen to lose, you're going to get 13 years in this case. So who's going to gamble on that? Who's going to gamble? If you lose, you get 13 years, or you take the probation, or you take a year in prison, or whatever the hell you're going to take. Most people are just going to play it safe and do the time. It shouldn't be if you don't have a private attorney, you're going to do time. Just shouldn't. It shouldn't. Everybody should have a right and should be encouraged to take their case to trial. And you shouldn't be punished for taking your case to trial if you lose. Because if not, it doesn't make sense. That's the same argument that if someone accuses you of a crime you didn't commit, right? They don't want to have a recourse to the person who made the false accusation because it will discredit victims. People will be afraid to come forward. And it's like, well, that's how trial works. If you tell somebody, if you take it to trial, you'll get the max if you lose. That discourages people from seeking the truth, from seeking justice, even if they know they're right. Because a lot of times these things don't go the right way. Anyway, I'm sorry. I went on a rant here. To take it back to this case, I just think it's ridiculous. Do you think this is justice? I don't see the justice in this. I do not see the justice in this. This happens all the time. We're adults. Twice in these cases, because it was only 8 different times this happened before they put a warrant out on his ass and arrested him for a dozen charges. 8 times. Just let that sink in for a second. 8 times. That's not like this guy did 100 times. Not like this guy thousands of dollars worth of stuff. No, 8 different times. He went on a date, ate dinner, and then left. You don't even know if every single date he went on this happened. Maybe he went, this is over the course of 2 years, from 2016 to now. So 2.5 years, over the course of 2.5 years, I'm sure he went on more dates than just 8. And only 8 times this happened, and now they're raining charges on him. Maybe he went out with these women. Maybe he couldn't stand it, and so then he ran out of the damn bathroom, like a lot of women do. But nobody's gonna hold them accountable for anything. Like I said, this is not a case where I think that women should be charged the same way. This is a case where I think neither party should be held responsible, and not with these charges. Grand theft auto, I think you had to be over like $10,000 to be considered grand theft auto. Not grand theft auto. I'm thinking video games here, but grand theft. Isn't a charge of grand theft supposed to be over a certain amount of money? I don't know. But it just doesn't make sense to me. And I'm really, all these articles I read about, I immediately scroll down to the comments section to see what other people think. And I never find the section. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like all these major newspapers, they're removing comment sections. So all you do is you're reading the news, and I really enjoyed that part of engaging with other people, seeing what other people thought of a situation. Now, it's rare you find a website. It has to be a small independent newspaper or something that allows people to comment on articles. I don't know. So please do comment on this video and tell me what you guys think of this case. I think it's preposterous. I think that we all know that if the sexes were reversed, this would never have come to pass. So tell me more about patriarchy. Susan, tell me how a guy leaves the bill for 8 women, and they call it dining and dashing, and he's facing a dozen charges, including extortion. I wonder, this may set a precedent. If they charge this guy, obviously they already charged him, okay? So this is going forward. This is going to set a precedent. And in the end, it's going to be like a lot of these politically correct laws that get passed. It's going to end up turning and biting the individuals that are pushing for it in the ass. Because the next time you go on a date with a woman and she ditches, the law's the law now. Technically, she extorted you. Technically, that was grand theft. And you can take it, it's a criminal offense. It's not even taking somebody to civil court. That's what I would have thought this case would have been a little bit more appropriate. A civil court. You can sue them for the money. Take them to small claims or something. But a case where it's actually a criminal extortion and grand theft, it's just ridiculous. Do I think that girls should be going to jail for this too? No, I don't think anybody should. I think if something like this happens, you can take them to civil court. It should not be a criminal matter. And the fact that this guy could be going to prison to ruin the rest of his life just seems absurd. It seems absurd. You don't think about it, but 99% of the times when this stuff happens, it's the guy that gets stiffed with the bill. And if you set a precedent where people are getting charged for this shit, the one that's always going to get charged, it's the woman that's going to hurt for this, okay? Because the guy is socially his responsibility for paying for this stuff. What is the charge even for dine and dash? Let's be honest. It's a slap in the wrist. It's a misdemeanor. You dine and dash. If you dine and dashed 8 different times, you would not get the same charges that this guy is getting for making the women pay. And he didn't make the women pay. You know what I'm saying? Like the restaurant made the woman pay. I don't know what I'm arguing here. Okay, maybe I'm getting off topic here by saying who made who pay. But I'm just saying that if you dined and dashed, so you went to a restaurant, had your meal, ordered dessert, and then peeled out of there 8 different times, and the total was still under $1,000, there's no way you would have got grand theft and extortion. There's no way you would have been in this crazy situation. It would have still been misdemeanors. It would have still been misdemeanors. I know this. I used to work in restaurants. Somebody dine and dash, you can call the police, but it's a misdemeanor. Nobody's going to give a shit. Nobody's going to give a shit. And a lot of people that Dine&Dash do it multiple times. I'm telling you, if you went and shoplifted out of a store and stole something that was $900, you wouldn't be facing 13 years in prison. So why? Why? Because the women are offended. Because the women are humiliated. I'm telling you, I bet you anything the prosecutor that is pushing this is a woman. Anyway, tell me what you guys think about this case, man. I really do want to have a conversation with anybody, see other people's point of view. Is this outrageous or is it just me? Am I overreacting? Does this not make sense? Or what? All right, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, Vince Piratore here. Buy red and sell green. And stay out of trouble.
Every time I see you falling, I get down on my knees and pray. I'm waiting for the final